Hey, what's up everybody? This is Flashback Toys and Collectibles. Today I'm going to be taking a look at a Masters of the Universe 2-pack featuring Laser Power He-Man and Laser Light Skeletor. Now this is from the Classics toy line, and this was released back in 2015. So these two figures pay tribute to the original Laser Power He-Man and Laser Light Skeletor that were released back in 1988. And I will be comparing the new figures with the old figures here in just a few. Okay, let's take a quick look at the packaging first. It does come inside of a brown mailer box labeled Laser Power He-Man and Laser Light Skeletor. And here's what comes inside the box. We have the 2-pack of Heman and Skeletor with some nice artwork on the front. Laser Power He-Man, Heroic Master of Light Energy, and Laser Light Skeletor, Evil Master of Light Energy. And here's the back of the box that shows some of the other figures that are available. And then down at the bottom here, there's a nice description for both figures. Let's go ahead and open this up. And here they are out of the packaging. Now both of these figures do have some LED lights that turn on. For Laser Power He-Man, there's a button located on his pack right here. If you push that, that turns on the Laser Power Sword. And for Laser Light Skeletor, he also has a button on his pack right here. And if you push that, that turns on his eyes and it also makes his hand glow. Now let's go ahead and turn off the lights so we can see these glowing a little bit better. So as you can see here, these both glow pretty good. Now these are on a timer. When you push that button, they stay on for about 20 seconds. Now if I hold the button on the pack, that's going to make the light blink. So I'm going to hold that. And that looks really cool on Skeletor. Now I'm going to push the button on He-Man and hold that for about 3 seconds. Now you can see it's blinking here. And it kind of just looks like it's pulsating. It looks pretty cool. So both of these figures stand at about 6 3/4 of an inch tall, so just shy of 7 inches. Let's take a closer look at Laser Power He-Man first. So Laser Power He-Man comes with a few accessories. Of course, he does have the Power Sword. He has some armor for his right arm, a power pack, and some chest armor. And all these pieces are removable. So we'll go ahead and pop the sword off here. His armor for his arm comes off in 2 pieces. Then the pack can unclip from his back. And then the chest armor can come apart right here. So the way this pack hooks onto the body of Laser Power He-Man is by this clip right here that goes into a slot that's on the back of Laser Power He-Man right here. So this does kind of look funny on the figure, especially if you don't have the armor and the pack in place. But once all the accessories and the armor is in place, it doesn't look bad. So this guy's got quite a bit of articulation. He can bend at the stomach here, the shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, the hand, the top of the leg, the knee, the boot, and the foot. And then the head can swivel side to side and up and down. And that's on a ball joint, so that can move pretty freely. If you take a look at his head, he does have a different head sculpt than most of the other He-Mans in the classic toy line. When we take a look at Laser Power He-Man next to Wondar, which would have just a regular He-Man head except for brown hair, you can see the faces and hair look quite a bit different. And to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of this head sculpt for Laser Power He-Man. He looks weird. It just doesn't look quite right. It looks like an aged He-Man, which is okay if that's what they're going for, but I don't think that's what they were trying to do. Now let's go ahead and try a different Classics head. This is Rebel Leader He-Man, and this would have been the He-Man based off the movie from the 1980s. So I'll pop off this head and pop on Rebel Leader He-Man head. And I think this head on this body looks way better in my opinion. And just for fun, let's try a couple more heads out. So this is Wondar's head from the classic toy line. So this head looks okay, but not as good as Rebel Leader He-Man. And let's go and try out one last head. This is a Filmation Faker head. And this head happens to be my favorite head for this laser power He-Man body. I just really like how the eyes look like they're glowing. It really matches the power sword pretty good. Let's take a closer look at the laser power sword. The bottom of it here is made of a rigid plastic, and then the top of it is made of a pliable, soft plastic. And this is also translucent, so the light can shine through it. And a cool feature with the power sword, when it's not in use, you can store it on the pack right here. Or it can store in the other direction as well. Now let's compare the 2015 Laser Power He-Man with the 1988 Laser Power He-Man. Now this is a replica, but it is really close to the original, so this is what I'll be using for the comparison. So as you can see here, they both have laser power swords that look really awesome. Now on the original figure, the way to turn on the power sword was by lifting the arm, and that would have activated a switch that turned on the pack, which then powered the sword. And for the 2015 model, you just push that button on the pack to turn on the sword. They do have pretty similar armor. They got the silver belt, blue shorts, blue boots. You got the armor on the right arm. You got the packs on the back. You got the silver gloves. And you got that H logo on the chest armor. Now one thing that the new model does not have, which I wish it did, is the M logo on the belt. If you look closer on the belt on the original figure, it does have an M logo. So I'm not sure why they don't have this M logo on the new figure. They do have quite a bit of detail on this belt with some stuff on the side here, but no M logo. The heads are quite a bit different, although the haircut is somewhat similar, but as far as the way the face looks, they look completely different. Another noticeable difference would be the armor on the right arm. That comes in two pieces on the new figure, and on the original figure that would have been in one piece. And clearly one of the biggest differences would be the size difference between these two figures. The new figure stands at about 7 inches, and the original figure stands at about 5.5 inches. Now let's take a closer look at Laser Light Skeletor. He also has a couple accessories. He has a translucent red Havoc Staff, a cape, and a hood. So here's the Havoc Staff. So this looks a lot like the original Havoc Staff, only it's in a translucent red color. So the hood comes off really easy as well. It just slides right off. So with this figure, the articulation is somewhat limited. The head cannot move up and down. It can only go side to side, and it can only go side to side just a little ways. The left arm can move at the shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, and at the glove. And for the right arm, it can move at the shoulder, and the hand or glove can twist a little bit as well. At the waist, it can pivot back and forth. The legs can move at the top, at the knee, and at the ankle. So there's no movement in the boot area. So the articulation with this figure is still pretty decent, but somewhat limited when compared to the other classic figures. Now let's compare the 2015 figure with the original 1988 Laser Light Skeletor. Just like the original Laser Power He-Man, the LED lights are activated by lifting the right arm in the upright position, and that turns on the lights for the eyes and the hand. And for the 2015 figure, those lights are activated by that pack on the back. And again, there's that size difference between the two. The original is about 5.5 inches, and this guy's close to 7 inches. If you take a look at the armor on these two figures, you can see it looks very, very close. So let's concentrate on the chest pieces first. On the newer figure here, you can see a lot of the robotics that's built into the chest of Skeletor. And if you look on the original figure, all these same details are pretty close to being the same. And I would say the detail on this new figure definitely looks better than the original figure. If you take a look at the belt here, it's red with a skull in the center. And same thing on the original figure. He's got the black shorts. He's got some robotics built into the legs, but the design of the robotics that are built into the legs are a little bit different than what was on the original figure. But you can see the design in the boots here is faithful to what the original figure was. If we look at the left leg here, it's got the similar straps that are going around on the calf area. And then if you look at the right leg, you can see that same piece on the knee is on the original figure as well. And this might seem like just a small thing, but I find this to be very awesome how these details are so close to the original design. And here's another view of those boots, and you can see that the shape on the bottom of the boots is the same as well. Now let's take a look at the back side of these two figures. Now on the new figure, he does have a rubberized cape, so this is kind of a stiff cape. It is somewhat pliable but stiff. And on the original figure, that would have been a fabric cape. To power the LED lights on the original figure, this portion of the pack can be removed, and then a AA battery goes inside here. And on the new figure, this portion of the pack can be removed with a screw that's right here. And then located inside here is going to be 3 watch batteries that power the LED lights. As far as the shape of the power packs go, it is quite a bit different looking on the new figure. It is somewhat oversized in comparison to the original figure. And I'm not really sure why they made the pack so big on this new figure, especially when it has those smaller batteries inside of it. Now let's compare the two faces or skulls. They both have the black outlined teeth, the black nose, black eyes. They both have yellow and green on the face. But I would say the detail on the new figure looks quite a bit better. In fact, I really like the looks of this skull. This skull looks awesome. And if we take a look at the detail on the back of the heads, it is somewhat close. But again, on the new figure, it looks way better. Now, one thing I really like about the new Laser Light Skeletor is that that armor is built in, just like the original figure. Now, one thing I did notice about Laser Light Skeletor is that some of the parts or designs were reused from a previous Skeletor. So this is Intergalactic Skeletor, or the New Adventures of He-Man Skeletor from the Classics toy line. And this figure was released in 2014. So if we take a look at the top of the arms, you'll notice that the shoulder and the bicep portion of the arm is the same mold. And also, if you take a look at the top portion of the legs, that's also the same mold as well, but with a different color scheme. And if we take a look at the bottom of the legs, you can see the boots are the same. As far as the price goes for this 2-pack, the price really varies. There's a lot of scalpers out there trying to sell these guys for way too much, but if you hunt hard enough, you can find these guys for close to $70, which is pretty close to retail price. And here's my final thoughts with these figures. I think these guys are well worth the $70 I paid for him. Although I do have a couple small complaints, my biggest issue is the head sculpt for He-Man. I'm not a fan. And with Light Skeletor, he does have some limited articulation and that oversized pack. But none of this really bothers me that bad, and I can always change the head on He-Man to whatever I prefer. Okay, it's time for me to go. If you liked this video, if you could hit that like button, and have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.